Let's start designing an LED driver. If the input source is DC, then the driver is relatively simple because it does not need power factor, total harmonic distortion, and it does not need to comply to other standards. We just need to know the input and output specifications to decide the topology, whether it is buck, boost, or SEPIC. For example, if the input source is a battery, 6 volts battery, and if it is driving 3 LEDs at 350 milliamperes each, the forward voltage drop of each LED being 3.3 volts. So now as we see, the output voltage is 10 volts. So as such, we need a boost topology. We need to set up the boost converter so that it regulates constant current across the LED string. For that, we introduce a sense resistor and we try to regulate the voltage across the sense resistor. This error amplifier will try to dictate the control law so that the PWM is changed so that it tries to regulate the voltage across the sense resistor and forcing a constant current in the LED string. If the input source is AC, then the driver is relatively complex as compared to its DC-DC counterpart. This is because it needs to accomplish power factor and also it needs to comply to other standards such as EMI, EMC and surge. The topology can be either isolated or non-isolated. Isolated topology, flyback is a very popular choice, whereas for non-isolated topology, buck or buck boost, inverting buck boost topology is what is generally used. As we increase the wattage, then the driver ultimately becomes a 2-stage driver or a 3-stage driver. For 2-stage, the first stage can be a PFC boost and the second stage can be either a flyback or if the wattage increases, it can be LLC half bridge resonant. Let's have a look at the buck driver. In the buck, normally we have a high side switch. Here we have moved the switch from high side to low side and the LEDs are connected across the output capacitor. This forms the buck driver. Let's have a look at the inverting buck boost topology. The inverting buck boost topology creates a positive and a negative voltage opposite and the LEDs are connected LED plus and LED minus. Let us have a look at the flyback driver, which is by far the most popular choice in LED drivers in isolated applications. In a flyback driver, for the power stage, we have the primary inductance, we have the MOSFET and we have the controller which is controlling the duty cycle of the MOSFET. The primary peak current information is sensed by the sense resistor. At the secondary side, we have the rectifying diode and the output bulk cap. LEDs are connected as load across this output bulk cap. There has to be some information coming from the secondary side which is reflected to the primary side so that the controller controls the duty cycle. How does a flyback driver achieves power factor correction? Let us have a look at the flyback driver. This is not a conventional flyback driver. The reason being the input bulk cap is not an electrolytic cap. It is a ceramic capacitor which is very small in value. So the input voltage that is coming is rectified unfiltered sine wave. When this rectified unfiltered sine wave is applied across the primary inductance, we can use the inductance equation, that is V equals to L di by dt. So during the on time of the MOSFET, by rearranging the equation, we get I peak is equals to T on over LP multiplied by Vn. We know that we can achieve a good power factor when the primary current tracks the primary voltage. For a particular design, LP is always constant. So we can have IP proportional to Vn if we keep T on constant. This is the basic principle that is used in single stage active PFC flyback drivers by keeping the on time constant in an AC cycle. Let us have a look at the waveform. Input voltage is a rectified sine wave. It increases. The primary current tries to track the input voltage by keeping the on time constant and the primary peak current tracks the input voltage. So over a given cycle, it increases and over the whole cycle it becomes this. As we see that the input current is proportional to the input voltage and thus we achieve a good power factor. Based on the principle we just followed, keeping the on time constant, let us have a look at TI's TPS 92310. The main advantage with this controller is that it is primary side, meaning it does not receive any information from the secondary side. So as such it becomes a very competitive solution because it removes the secondary error amplifier, the secondary optocoupler. All the information is sensed from the primary side only by the bias winding and the sense resistor. This controller is a constant on-time controller. It can also be operated in peak current mode by the mode setting pins. It operates in critical conduction.